If I was learning Blender again, this is exactly what I would do. These are the 9 steps that I would take to make sure that I become a Blender professional in the quickest amount of time and the easiest possible way. So without further ado, let's jump into the first tip. This will basically be in like a chronological order. So like step 1, 2, 3, all the way to number 9, which is the last step. But you can obviously do number 9. You can remix the order if you really want. But these are the 9 most crucial things that I would do to make sure that I learn Blender, because Blender can be a little bit confusing in the beginning, and I think a lot of people give up before they even start. So that brings me to tip number 1. Understand that it's going to take time and it's not going to happen overnight. So if I can compare this to something like, let's say, photo editing in Lightroom, you could probably learn Lightroom in a day or a lot about it. Whereas Blender, you're not going to learn it in a day. It's going to take you a couple of weeks, a few months. Talking from experience, when I first downloaded Blender, I thought I'm going to open up the program and I'm going to start creating amazing scenes. That's just not the case, so you need to be realistic. And that brings us on to tip number 2. Focus on doing the basics well and learning the basics, basically. Sounded pretty cool. Again, talking from experience, when I opened up Blender, I didn't even know how to move around. Like, I didn't know you got to use the middle scroll wheel to move around. Like, the middle, like, you know, the rolling thing on your mouse. And a lot of people won't even have a mouse. Like, if they're using a laptop, they won't even know how to move around. And once that happened to me, the first time I opened up Blender, I tried to move around. I couldn't move around, and I just threw my laptop. Well, I didn't really throw it, but I gave up for like a few weeks, to be honest. And I think a lot of people do that. I'm not the only one. On to number 3, watch tutorials, but try to add your own little twist on them if possible. So don't just watch any tutorial. If you don't want to make a donut, then don't watch the tutorial to make a donut, in my opinion. Watch tutorials that interest you. So if you want to create realistic landscapes, don't watch somebody who's doing a tutorial on modeling Eevee. Look for landscape tutorials. And then, in my opinion, watch tutorials that are shorter rather than longer. I don't know, that just works better for me. But if you prefer longer tutorials, by all means, watch those. I just learn better with shorter tutorials. Find what kind of style you like and focus on that, because you can do so much with Blender. You can do modeling, you can do sculpting, you can do animation, you can do motion graphics, you can do realistic scenes, you can do architecture. Like, literally you can create anything in 3D, and it can be a little bit overwhelming for somebody who is only learning the program. So find a style, like a niche that you enjoy. Let's say like cinematic scenes, focus on that. Don't worry about sculpting a balloon or modeling something. If you want a car for your cinematic scene, don't model it. Don't YouTube how to model a car. Just download a free model from many websites. Number 5 might be a little controversial, but find add-ons that you can afford or that are free that will help you. What I mean by that is, let me give you an example. So let's say you're creating a landscape with grass. You can make grass. You can YouTube how to create grass. Follow that. It's going to take time. Whereas you can use Polygonic, that you're going to have to buy if you've got the money. But I suggest buying it, because then you can just 2 clicks and the grass is there. And you can focus on your composition, your scene, without having to worry about making grass. On to number 6. Then what you want to do is try to create scenes on your own, but don't be afraid to go back and look at old videos for like help if you forget something. So let's say you're creating a scene and you've got the interior of a house, and now you want to add a concrete material and you don't have a add-on, and you want to create it yourself using the shader. And you can remember like a couple of years ago, or not years, but like a few days ago, you watched a concrete material tutorial, but you can't remember how to do it. Just YouTube that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with doing that. And if you do it a couple of times, you might even know how to do it then without having to look at the video. Number 7, look for inspiration in other places. So this might be a little bit outside the box thinking, but on Blender, you don't just want to look for what people are creating on Blender. Look at Pinterest, look at Behance, look at Instagram, look at, let's say, look at paintings. The inspiration is everywhere, literally. Then number 8, create whatever you want. Don't try and create a popular style. Like if you want to create a realistic scene that has a huge hand sticking out of it, that you know is never going to happen, it's a surreal scene, and you want to create that, create it, post it, and own it. Like, just be you, create whatever you want. And then the last tip, number 9, is try and create something every day. And what I mean by that is, I'm not saying you have to create a scene every day. What I'm saying is, you got to open up Blender every day, got to do something in there, create something, even if it's a square with a color, or like 3 squares that are red, blue and yellow with a background. You still created something. It doesn't have to be a scene. Even if you don't create a scene, let's say you take a UV sphere and you create a material on it, and you play around with the nodes, and you just mess around, you're still creating something. So you don't have to worry about creating something massive or perfect every day. Just open up Blender, explore every day, and just try and learn something new every day. And I can guarantee you, if you do that for 60 days, you will be better than most people at Blender. Because a lot of people get to like 10 to 20 days, and they're like, F this, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm tired. I'm not a professional yet. And if you just keep growing, you will become better. So just every day, get better, hone that skill, and yeah, hopefully this video helped you and encouraged you. Feel free to check out one of my other videos, and if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Peace.